What's up, guys? It's Dekkster here, and we got 3 new cards revealed for Descent of Dragons, the new expansion for Hearthstone that's about to come out early December, which is really just a few weeks away. I'm pretty pumped. I hope you guys are too. But anyways, let's talk about the cards. First, we got Shuma here, a legendary neutral 7 mana 1/7, where at the end of your turn, you fill an entire board with 1/1 tentacles. This does not seem very good. It happens at the end of your turn, which is kind of what scares me the most as far as its viability. This is not something you want to be playing when you're behind. If your opponent has a board, you play this, you kind of do nothing and just fill your board with tokens. But if you're not under too much pressure and maybe you're playing some sort of token druid or you're playing a token shaman with maybe bloodlust, this would be pretty solid, right? It ends up putting up a board and they have to do something that not only clears the entire board, but also kills Shuma, because Shuma will put up another board. So let's say it's turn 7 or turn 6 and you have coin. Your opponent can't really do anything. You play Shuma, they can't deal with it, makes a board. You have a board of seven different things with 1 attack, right? Hit them with the Savage Roar, maybe 2 Savage Roars, and then you just OTK them, I guess. Or, you know, Bloodlust, or maybe even 2 Bloodlusts if you have 10 mana. But I don't actually see this thing seeing too much play, at least with the current card pool. Token Druid is just not really a thing. I guess Token Shaman's a thing, but that's mostly because of Evolve. But Evolve and all that stuff is going to be gone. So I don't think this card's going to see too much play. I'd say this is probably like 3 out of 5. Just because I see the potential. It's not complete trash like Hyreek. And maybe there are going to be more board buffing strategies or cards that are implemented into Token Druid or a Token Shaman that make this actually good. All right, we got Dragon Rider Talritha, which is a 3 mana 3/3 legendary card for Paladin. It's not a dragon itself, but it does have the Death Rattle. Give a dragon in your hand +3/+3 and this Death Rattle, which seems really good. Very similar to Valinir, which saw a ton of play. This thing's going to constantly bounce around, and this Death Rattle is just going to keep going and keep going, unless they silence one of the minions that has the Death Rattle. So a pretty annoying card for your opponent and a pretty value card for you. Now, the main concern I see here is you probably want to run some sort of tempo mid-rangey dragon thing when you're playing this card, because let's say you have Ysera or, I don't know, a Deathwing or a Malygos in your hand. You play this, it dies, and then the Death Rattle goes on your Ysera. You're not going to be able to play Ysera until really late in the game, and it's not going to be that useful. But let's say you play this, it dies, and the buff lands on a Twilight Drake. And then you play the Twilight Drake, that dies, and it lands on the Bronze Herald. And then the Bronze Herald dies, and it lands on, I don't know, the 4/4 tokens that come from the Bronze Herald. Like, and then you play that one, and then that one dies. Like, that's going to give you so much value. But the fact that this can land on something big kind of deters you from running big dragons. Concerns me a little bit, but I still think this is going to be used in some sort of viable Paladin dragon list. Just knowing that Bronze Herald's there, and you have the dragon speaker sort of dude, Twilight Drakes, and they're showing all these other strong dragons, and I'm sure there are more dragons to come. I think this is actually going to see play. You just have to be careful. You don't want this landing on like Nazari or something like that. But maybe they're going to have different dragon builds. Maybe it's not just Nazari combined with the other dragons. Maybe Nazari is separate, its own separate slow control dragon build, and this is going to be, you know, its own thing. And at the same time, you don't really want to build a deck around this card because it's a one-of. It's a legendary. You can only have one of these, and yeah, you don't want to build around this. But I like it. I think it has a lot of potential. I just see a few cons that might make it awkward, but maybe once we start playing it, it'll actually feel really good and fluid, and better than anyone imagined. I'm going to say this is like 4 stars out of 5. All right, we got the Envoy of Lazul, a 2 mana 2/2 priest epic card. That upgrade is look at 3 cards, guess which one is in your opponent's hand to get a copy of it. So really similar to Glimmerroot, which saw a lot of play, which was a 3 mana 3/3, which looked at 3 cards, and you had to guess which one was in your opponent's deck. It is a 2-drop instead of a 3. I don't know how much you're going to know about your opponent's deck on turn 2, so you might end up whiffing this a lot, at least until the meta stabilizes, and then at that point you'll kind of be able to know which card and pretty much just get a card from your opponent's hand. The problem here is usually you don't want your opponent's cards. You want your cards. Like maybe drawing a card would be better than having this, or maybe just not playing this at all would be better than playing this. Chameleos was a card that just turned into one of your opponent's cards, right? And you just had it in your hand. You didn't have to spend 2 mana throwing something on the board, and that really never saw any play. People were really excited about Chameleos initially because they're like, oh, it's going to give you information, and that information's busted. Didn't end up seeing any action because the information was just not worth the cost of having a weak card in your deck. I guess it's also similar to Madame Lazul, and Madame Lazul sees no play because she's just not great, man. So I think this card won't see any action, like at all. I'm gonna say this is like a 1 out of 5, unless like a new card is implemented that makes Virgo Priest even more of a thing. I mean, we have Talanji, right? So I guess it's okay. But again, we still have Talanji and we have Madame Lazul, and it just doesn't work. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with a 1. I'm gonna be risky and say it's a 1. But that's about it. Just 3 cards, right? 3 cards for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I'm gonna hope to keep doing reviews of all the new cards as they come out. I'm gonna try and be faster this expansion. If you liked it, you know, hit it with a thumbs up. Let me know. Hit that subscribe button. Good luck on ladder or the battlegrounds or whatever you're doing, and stay hydrated.